check this out as we dive into this next story, which is Trump's reaction to the National Guard and to what's going on in Minnesota with new revelations about just how bad these people are. They're bad actors and they need to get out of the country. Check this out.
In jidadkeennii aan wada dhisano anigu waan ahay gabar Mareykanka laga doortay oo Congress-ka Mareykanka ku jirto laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed gabar idinku jinsi ah gabar idinku af ah gabar idinku diin ah oo hadde qof iyadoo da'yar waddankeedii laga kaxeeyay wili xiise u qabto in maalin waddankeedii ay ku noolaato oo dadkeedii wax ay la wadaagto marka alxamdulillah waxaan rajaynayaa anigii iyo ilmahayga in aan hadde ku barbaariyo iyagana ilmahooda ay ku barbaariyaan dhulkii aniga aan ku soo koray taasna haddii ay suurtagelayso waa hadde shaqo badan inaan wada qabanaa hadduu ilaahay yiraahdo oo aan ka dhignaa dhulkeena dhul barwaaqadiisa dadka oo dhan ay dareemi karaan oo ay arki karaan oo ay ka wada faa'iideysan karaan.
All right, so welcome back to Courageous Media. Please don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button for me. So Ilhan Omar, if you want so much to go live in your own country, then go away, because we no longer want you here. You and your ilk are disgusting. Your hatred for America, your hatred for the Constitution, your hatred for everything Christian and American is obvious to everyone, and you need to go away. So that I wanted to open up with that, because here you have one of the spokespeople from this group, especially from the Somali community that was allowed into America, that is now wreaking havoc in Minnesota. And it just goes along with what the Afghans have been doing with their unvetted migrants. And in this particular case, we now are aware that Ilhan Omar potentially perpetrated fraud in her migration, in her immigration application. She is a naturalized citizen, but if she committed fraud by marrying her brother, then she needs to be denaturalized and basically sent packing. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I wanted to dive into this because Trump is not having this anymore. I think Trump has had enough of this nonsense. Check this out, because he is now calling for essentially all of these migrants to be sent home. Here we go.
Breaking news coming in. Donald Trump says he will pause all migration to the US from the third world. So we've obviously had this shooting, and this is what he's had to say on Truth Social. You can see the second line there. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the US system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, remove anyone who is not a net asset to the US or incapable of loving our country. He says he'll end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country as well, denaturalise migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. So effectively, if someone's been naturalised, they could still be kicked out of the country. He says deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk or non-compatible. The man carrying out this shooting, alleged of course to be a foreign national from Afghanistan. He says the goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations. Reverse migration, he's calling this. He says only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. So other than that, what does he say? Happy Thanksgiving to all except those that hate, steal, murder and destroy everything that America stands for. He won't be here for long. So that's breaking news out of the Trump administration. Echoes, I suppose, of that ban on immigration from all Muslim nations, which would happen in his last term, this time all third world nations. We'll see the result. Could be chaos on the borders as we saw last time.
Hip, hip, hooray. Yes. End all migration from countries where we don't want people from. Absolutely. We need to completely change the immigration system in America. It needs to be 100% merit-based. We should only let in people that will serve our nation, that will help to build our economy, that will assimilate, who want to be Americans. I love Trump's green gold card program. If you want to be a citizen of America and you don't bring some high quality skill that we absolutely need, or you don't have some gift that we absolutely need. You want to be part of America? Yeah, pay $5 million. Pay $5 million up front. Pay another $1 million a year for 5 years. Build a business, employ people. So basically, we get $10 million, and you get to be an American citizen. You get naturalized. You go through all the classes. You learn civics. You prove your fealty to America, and we pay off our national debt, and you get to build a business here in America. But I absolutely love it. No more third world country immigrants in America, unless they, again, merit-based. I also like the fact that he is doubling down on things like, we're going to get into it, on the HB1 program. He's doubling down on other aspects of this as well, because we need to, I think, pause all immigration from every country until we have a chance to vet, deport all the criminal illegal aliens, vet everybody else, and get everybody into assimilation mode. Because right now people aren't assimilating. Now, Trump doubled down specifically on the Somali community because he sees what's going on in Minnesota. And I think there's a couple other things that I would love to see as part of this. One, anybody who holds dual citizenship, they should be given 30 days to renounce their foreign citizenship, even if they're naturalized or other. You have 30 days to renounce your foreign citizenship, do it publicly, do it officially, and make an appointment with the State Department to prove that you have renounced your foreign citizenship. Otherwise, you will be gone. Your American citizenship will be revoked. We need to go back to, you can only serve one master. You cannot serve two masters. Just as the Bible says you cannot serve God and money or mammon, you can't serve two countries. You can't be a dual citizen, because whose interests take precedence? So we've got a bunch of people out there who are multiple citizens of multiple countries. No, should not be allowed. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. But I love that problem. I love what he's talking about there. Now, check this out, because he doubled down specifically on some of the Somalis and the things that are going on in Minnesota. And he calls it like it is. Check this out.
President Trump about Somalis living in Minnesota.
Tonight, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, "I am, as president of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from," end quote. Now, we're working to learn the legality of the president's plan and the potential impact.
We know Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, with the last estimate by Minnesota Compass at more than 79,000 people. Callan Gray is working on this in the newsroom, and Callan, reaction is coming in fast tonight.
That's right. Just in the last hour, Governor Walz responding, saying, quote, "It is not surprising the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject," end quote. Congressmember Ilhan Omar also pushing back, posted on X, quote, "I am a citizen, and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay." According to National Immigration Forum, as of October, there were 705 people from Somalia in the U.S. with TPS, and we're working to get the total count here in Minnesota. Temporary protected status is meant for those whose home countries are experiencing civil unrest, violence, or natural disasters. Somali immigrants have been eligible since 1991. The Department of Homeland Security says this was most recently extended through March of next year. Homeland Security has the discretion to designate a country for TPS for periods of 6 to 18 months and can extend it if the country continues to meet the conditions for designation.
Personally, I think we should end all TPS. Nope. You either apply for asylum, do it legitimately, do it legally, but let none of this TPS anymore. Now, end it all. Anybody who's here on any form of TPS should be gone. We can't vet these people. There's way too much volume. You've got people running around in the country that have not been granted asylum. They're not seeking permanent residence. They're not trying to be citizens. They're just here leeching off the country. No. Temporary protected status needs to end across the board, not just for Somalis, but especially for the Somalis, considering what we see going on in Minnesota. Don't forget that we broke this story a couple weeks ago. We didn't break it, but we reported on it, where they have committed over $250 million worth of PPP fraud for the COVID, the COVID handouts, saying that they were feeding people through a restaurant and a food kitchen, and frankly, they weren't. It was all fraud. They didn't feed anybody. They took $250 million of government money and basically shipped it, paid themselves, and then shipped a bunch of it back to Somalia. Meanwhile, you've got Somali migrants here in America that ship back billions of dollars to Somalia. That money exits the U.S. economy. Now, in addition to all the fraud that they have perpetrated on the state of Minnesota and the federal government through their PPP fraud and other types of fraud, now we can add voter fraud and election fraud to the list. Check this out, because this just gets better and better in the good old state of Minnesota with Governor Tim Walz, as Trump called him, quote unquote, retarded, leading the fray there. Check this out.
New allegations in a Minnesota voter fraud case that first came to light this summer. 2 people pleaded guilty in federal court to being paid to help register voters. In all, 500 to 600 fraudulent voter registration applications were submitted to election officials in offices in 13 Minnesota counties.
Hi there, Frank. It was some sharp election workers in Carver County who realized the names and addresses on the voter registration forms did not match with any county residents. Prosecutors charged 2 people with 1 count each of voter registration fraud. According to the charging documents, the 2 were paid by an unnamed foundation to help register voters. The 2 defendants pled guilty this summer and have since moved out of state. The scope of the 2-year FBI and state investigation was not previously known.
And it's very significant that they said today it was 13 counties, between 500 and 600 fake voter registrations. And that's just from 2 of the independent contractors that worked with this group.
The investigation involved scouring hundreds of records.
On guidance from the FBI, the voter registration applications were mailed directly to the election lead, and instructions were shared to use gloves when handling the forms.
In testimony before the committee, Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon says the system designed to catch voter fraud worked.
This is a case about individuals who conspired to submit false voter registration applications. This is not a case about fraudulent votes. And this is ultimately a case of the system working.
How many were in the system is challenged.
Republican Committee Chair Kristen Robbins, who is running for governor, says she has additional concerns that the unnamed foundation that paid the 2 workers is funded by state taxpayer dollars.
99% of their budget comes from state grants. So this is a group that the state is funding and that then went out and did these voter registrations.
Now, the hearing left a lot of people, including us, with a lot of questions that were not answered. One of the big ones.
So we've got essentially, you can add, you've got election fraud, you've got money laundering fraud, you've got a whole community of people that are here under dubious circumstances that have created havoc in Minnesota. And it's time for this to end. And Trump, thankfully, is putting this to an end. Check this out from one of the DOJ spokesmen, Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant DHS Secretary. Check this out.
No, this could absolutely grow, Dana. This is evolving, especially as we do some real analysis on this. But I do think it's incredibly important for viewers to know what the prior administration was doing when it comes to vetting, especially when it came to this Operation Allies Welcome. This vetting was paper thin. They weren't doing biometric vetting. They weren't really doing criminal vetting, criminal screening, cyber screening, financial crimes. They weren't cross-referencing. They weren't looking at social media. So President Trump and Secretary Noem have completely overhauled this process to make sure we're diving in deep and seeing who are the people who are actually entering this country. As your past guests have said, almost 200,000 Afghan nationals entering this country, many of which were military-aged men. The fact of the matter is the Biden administration didn't know who was coming into our country, causing a huge national security crisis. And that's exactly what we saw the other day with this terrorist attack and then this near terrorist attack out of Fort Worth, Texas, where this individual was threatening to blow up a building. Both of these individuals being Afghan nationals, both of them coming in under this Biden administration program.
Let's be clear. Biden didn't want to know who was coming in. Biden just wanted them here to wreak havoc. That's why I go back to what I said previously. I believe the entire Afghan debacle pullout was a deep state op. It was a two-pronged deep state op. How do we give our enemies, how do we give Islamist terrorists in Afghanistan $80 billion and bypass Congress? Because even a liberal Congress is never going to allow this. The Senate would never vote for $80 billion in free gifts to the Taliban. So the deep state had to find a way to give them $80 billion and sidestep Congress. Second, they wanted tens of thousands of migrants here in America, not assimilating, not seeking permanent residence, not seeking to be American citizens. They wanted the chaos, and they got it. They got exactly what they wanted in that Afghan debacle pullout. I believe that was a deep state op. Please, if you could, smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on the notifications. If you're willing, if you like the channel, please grab a super. We do accept super chats. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. And if you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. Now, so Trump on Thanksgiving absolutely doubled down, tripled down on what he's been saying all along. I'm not going to read his entire post, but you ought to go check this out at Donald Trump. Real Donald Trump. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all our great American citizens who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, blah, 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 just for being politically correct and plain stupid. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people. That's the census. And that's what needs to exit America. If they are not here under actual asylum, if they are not here as permanent residents, if they are not here seeking citizenship and to assimilate, then frankly, we don't want them. And Trump has been talking about this. Here's the other thing that he said. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. You cannot sustain this. Trump needs to basically end all federal government assistance for anybody who is a non-citizen. I don't care if you're here legally. I don't care if you're a permanent resident, if you have a green card. If you are not a citizen, you should not get any government handouts, period. If you want government handouts, go back to your own country. You cannot come to America as an immigrant and then get money from the federal government or the state government, frankly. And this is where he basically calls Tim Walz the retarded governor of Minnesota. Tim Walz does nothing either through fear, incompetence, or both. And the worst congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, who probably came to the U.S. illegally, in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, how badly she is treated when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation. Yeah, she needs to go home. Absolutely. Time for her to go away. Her and all of the squad members, or anybody who is a foreign national. Frankly, I'm getting to the point we can't have foreign nationals serving in Congress. It's just getting ridiculous. But Trump was caught on the Air Force One gaggle, and you've got to hear what he says. Because again, not only has he ended TPS, not only has he basically stopped all migration from third world countries, at least temporarily, he is also ending all asylum claims temporarily. Check this out. This is great stuff. This all goes to, we need to essentially end immigration, legal and illegal, for the time being until we can get a handle on what's going on and get the people who are here vetted and assimilated or deported. Check this out.
Your administration made a lot of moves throughout the last few days after we know that Afghan national is the suspected shooter of these National Guardsmen.
Yeah, maybe people that shouldn't be in our country this way.
So you announced that asylum...
And that includes Somalians and includes plenty of others.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any
We
kind
don't
of
want
time?
them.
What's
We
a
don't
long
want those
time?
people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit.
And then
But it could be a long time.
you said
We
that.
don't want those people. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Do you understand it?
I understand.
Who are you with?
I'm with News Nation. So
Okay,
my
News
name's
Nation.
Lindsay.
News Nation. Great. Let me just tell you something. We don't want those people. Does that make sense? You know why we don't want them? Because many of them are no good, and they shouldn't be in our country.
Explain those people. Can you
The
clarify?
people from different countries are not friendly to us, and countries that have had it control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want that.
Absolutely. No more asylum claims. No temporarily pause all migration from third world countries. I absolutely 100% agree. We have to there are 53 million people here. We know there are at least 20 million illegal immigrants. We need to get all of the illegals out. We need to vet the other 30 million remaining people and figure out, are you here to become an American citizen and to assimilate into American society? If not, go. You're gone. I absolutely 100% agree with him. Now, as part of that, Trump has also made major moves. Now, remember, this was a big scuttlebutt a few months ago, the whole HB1 visa situation, where you had tech giants arguing that we need more HB1. This was a big deal with Vivek Ramaswamy, actually kind of championing the program or at least supporting it. Well, Donald Trump has made a major change to the HB1 visa program, which is absolutely sending shockwaves, which will allow American workers to once again get hired for tech jobs. It will raise wages on all those tech jobs because the idea of bringing in an HB1 just got more expensive. Check this out.
Most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H-1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H-1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land, train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it. Go ahead, Sean.
Fantastic. $100,000 a year. Now it's no longer economically feasible to take a $180,000 tech job, hand it to an HB1 visa holder, and pay them $80,000 a year. You can't do it now because now you might as well just pay the $180,000. Because you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of the sponsorship and you're paying the same amount of money. Realize that's what was happening before. You had depressed wages in tech because they were just bringing in people from India and other places, who were getting these this HB1 visa program. And the tech companies were using it to depress wages and just pay a lot less. Well, that's over now. So hopefully we will see a major change in that. Unless you've got someone who is really highly skilled, someone who has a skill that they can't easily find in America, then okay, fine. They're willing to pay that $100,000. So plus you've got Trump again pushing the gold card. I think that should be for the rest of the Trump term. For the rest of his second term, that should probably be the only means of immigration. You want to come to America, you pay $5 million up front, you pay $1 million a year with the Trump gold card, and you get to jump the line, which in this case, there is no line because we've ended the line. We've closed the door. The only door open now is if you are willing to start a business, you have means, and we'll let people in that way. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this is fantastic stuff. I love that he's actually not really cracking down on the HB1, but at least making it economically infeasible to simply outsource jobs to foreign nationals. Now, what has to happen in conjunction with this is Trump needs to make sure that there are sanctions and policies in place that they can't just outsource the job itself overseas. Because with tech jobs, obviously they can just go pay somebody in India. I mean, you got to get around the time change and all that nonsense. But you just got to make sure that companies cannot offshore jobs to foreign countries in order to essentially circumvent the HB1 visa program. The new stipulations on that. So Trump needs to make sure that that's in place as well. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here.